Let's see. Here we go. Hello, my name is Frank Lavinia, and there we go. Captions. They keep changing the UI. Either that or I'm not streaming often enough anymore because it's been kind of hectic. Uh, in Frank's world. I'm Frank Lavinia. Couple of things. One, there's a new episode of Data Driven that's out. We have Pierre Molino and he did an awesome talk on declarative ML. Totally check it out. But I want to talk quickly about this here. What is OpenShift AI and Red Hat's vision to empower organizations with unparalleled AI and ML? Want to talk about construction or building, and the stronger the foundation, the higher the building can go. Um, Data, of course, is the foundation of artificial intelligence. And this is a technology space that is evolving rapidly. Like, I haven't checked in on any of the latest happenings in kind of the generative AI, large language model land since like Monday morning. And I already feel woefully behind. This is the type of innovation and speed that I haven't seen in quite some time, probably going back to the dot-com boom. So I've written an article about this. Um, what time is it? Oh, I'm good on time. I think I'm good on time. Just another 5 minutes. I written the hierarchy of data needs, right? And this is, very, with apologies to Abraham Maslow, right? Is that we think about AI as being kind of this island unto itself, but it's not. It is at the peak of the mountain. AI rests on top of data science, right? Mathematical principles, mathematical processes, services, right? The data pulls, data science requires data from all kinds of services. That in and of itself relies on storage, hardware, networking, and that sort of thing. Get the idea. And all of it has to be addressed from wrapped in a nice blanket of security, a security blanket, if you will. And we're also at a time when IA is also important, right? It's not just about AI; it's about intelligent automation. Because regardless of where you work, what your industry is in, there's a shortage of experienced personnel in just IT ops, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, right? If you're relying on manual processes, you're not going to be around much longer, right? These manual processes are at end of life or near end of life. The time is now to start thinking about automation. And it's not just the type of automation. So if you were in Reston last week at the Chat GPT OpenAI boot camp, um, I spoke about GitHub Copilot, and I will do another demo on that here. But Ansible Lightspeed is another type of Copilot that basically was built by IBM using Red Hat OpenShift Data Science. That basically will take plain English queries and convert that into an Ansible playbook, right? That is going to revolutionize the DevOps world because now, uh, you know, DevOps really, revolutionized the idea that infrastructure is code and you can kind of script and automate away a lot of things. This now is going to let people be able to automate that level of automation, or at least accelerate. So if you're an Ansible expert, you're going to be more productive. If you're an Ansible kind of noob, you're going to be that much more productive. So we're seeing this kind of happen in all sorts of places. Now, another thing that's interesting is that the enterprise AI market is dominated by open source. Most of the solutions that you find out there have some kind of open source component. Databricks, Kink, and Spark. There are some exceptions, but for the most part, those are exceptions. So why is that? Why has open source become so closely linked to innovation, right? Why has it captured the market? Well, I think there's really kind of three things going on. One, people, talent is easier to find. Why is that? Well, it's free. You get started, right? It's not a heavy lift, right? It's not like, if you look at the world of 3D rendering, right? Blender is an open source project. It's free. A lot of good things have been built in Blender. Back in the day when I was interested in 3D modeling very heavily, 3D Studio, Softimage, I mean, these were thousands of dollars of investment. Whereas now you can just download something and it's free. There's no licensing. You don't have to break the law to get your hands on software or anything like that. Two, processes, right? The best practices are far more likely to be shared. And three, the technology. The latest advances are out in the open. This is particularly true in the AI space, where they can, people publish research papers to get their name out there. Right? It's really kind of seeing the best of the academic policies and practices. And open source, right? Open source is great, right? You just view what's going on. It's open to innovation, right? And it's free to install, right? I mean, you can't beat that. I already mentioned, the advantage of Blender over, say, maybe 3D Studio or 3ds Max. But it's free like a puppy. And just because you can download the tool doesn't mean that the tool is easy to maintain or easy to take care of, right? Like a puppy. Source software is free, but maintaining it is not free. And this leads to staffing issues, right? Well, fortunately, Red Hat, if you whether this is Linux, whether this is OpenShift, whether this is OpenShift AI, um, Red Hat handles the maintenance, right? And we have an excellent pedigree for handling kind of the wild world of open source. Um, excuse me. And AI, I don't need to tell anyone who's watching this on my feed, right? AI is just part of our everyday lives now. I mentioned GitHub Copilot. There's ChatGPT. There's Wisdom. There's Dolly, right? All of these things that are here. And the AI ML ecosystem is complex, right? A lot of things going on. The vendor landscape is constantly changing. Technologies are rapidly evolving. It's a fast moving space. Again, sounds an awful lot like Linux in the early 2000s. So, these are two of my favorite memes, right? Like everybody wants this generative AI, right? Everybody wants the new hotness, right? But they're forgetting the underlying fundamentals, right? You think back to the hierarchy of needs, that still holds true. And if you look in this little meme here on the right, 10 lines of SQL written in 2014 really upholds the entire enterprise or the entire data estate. And what we're doing now is we're creating these artifacts, these AI models, and now we have to think about operationalizing them, right? Getting something from out of the lab into production is a discipline and a challenge in and of itself. And how do containers relate to data science, right? Well, why? Why containers? Why Kubernetes? Why DevOps for AI ML? Well, you get agility, right? This is cloud native stuff, right? Why did they do that? Not just to be cloud native, but to have a much more composable, modular solution. Portability. You can um, you can develop these models, these solutions across the public cloud, the edge, and anywhere in between. You also get a certain amount of flexibility for the environments. You can scale up, scale down. There's a lot of advantages here, and turns out that data and AI workloads are among the top five in Kubernetes. And adopters are key to using these to improve AI workloads, right? Kubernetes has conquered the cloud. Kubernetes has conquered the software development world. So that gets to the point, right? What is this? This isn't just another AI tool, right? It is a AI focused portfolio that provides tools across the full life cycle of AI ML experiments and models. And the chief among these, actually the only product in the category now, is Rhodes, Red Hat OpenShift Data Science. I'll have more to say about other things in there. But ultimately, all of our engineering right here at Red Hat is 100% open source, right? All of these, our community project is Open Data Hub, just like Fedora is the community project for RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, and Kubernetes is the upstream for OpenShift, right? Why is this important now? Well, I would say regulations, privacy, security, and flexibility. Um, if you look at what happened with Samsung, right? They banned the use of AI, generative AI tools. Schools are banning the use of generative AI tools, right? But where this was a big problem for Samsung was there was an internal data leak that went out there, right? And there's a lot of unanswered questions about this because it is such a new field, and it's something to think about. And anyone who watches this feed, chances are that data science or AI is more than just about AI, right? I go back to that Maslow pyramid again, right? Most of the things that data scientists do, they really like being in that little square in the middle. But if you kind of look at, and I think this came from the hidden technical debt in data systems, um, and that little signal means letting it go. But data scientists don't want to think about the configuration, the resource management, serving infrastructure, monitoring, that sort of thing. They don't want to think about that. And that's basically where we come from, where we come in. We handle this. And now this just becomes another workload you run on your clusters, right? That's really the magic here. That's really the power. So with that, I'm going to end the stream just a touch early, but I'm glad I was able to stream. As always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to ping me on whatever platform you're watching. Leave a comment below and be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I think that's what all the cool kids say. And you have a fantastic afternoon or evening. And I'm looking for my fancy outro graphic. There you go. Bye.